snatches, mostly quick snatches. So work up to at least 100, maybe 105, 110 if it's feeling spicy. But just gonna work up on those, work up my clean jerks and front squats, and it should be, in theory, a quick session. Took a little bit of a napper because it's Friday. That's what we do on Fridays. We take big naps. I'm also going to attempt to not use straps today, not for any particular reason, but I have been holding up very well. I didn't use straps on Wednesday for a bigger session that I had, and I don't have any like hand irritation from that. And that's mostly what I tried to limit. I've gotten better over the years of limiting, or at least having days where I don't use straps as much. I would have periods of training before where I would just use straps for everything, and I think a lot of that was from sessions or from times where I would have to do a lot of reps in like the snatch, and it would just tear up my hands, and so it just became like a self-fulfilling thing where my hands hurt, so I used straps, and my hands didn't stop having irritation, so I couldn't like just have a day where I didn't use straps. And it's also like if you're doing triples, it's never fun not to use straps for those kind of reps. So at this point, I can do any kind of training I want, so I can kind of balance that I think a little bit better. So if I'm doing repetitions or block work or hangs or whatever, I can always use straps. And then like on a day like this, where it's just a kind of like a tune-up day for tomorrow in an ideal sense, I can just use my normal grip. Plus it's still warm enough, and I have plenty of chalk. That's kind of the other two things. Like if I don't have a ton of chalk, like if the either the gym's low or if I for some reason am low in chalk, then that's another reason to utilize straps, because at least for me, my hands are really sweaty naturally. So I tend to have a lot of issues with grip if I don't have lots and lots of chalk. So goal 100. I think I put 110, but I'm gonna say minimum of 100 in snatch, minimum of 125 in the clean and jerk, and I would say a minimum of 160 in the front squat. But I would do those three movements, just sing with them all. And I've been warming up a little bit. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty caffeinated. And it's not too cold out, but I still got my things like a jacket and hat on just as I warm up. But I'm sure I'll lose the hat soon, especially because it's a Stinky Brown's hat. So we're going to throw some chalk on and start training. Always need chalk. This is a nice little warm up. It feels nice to kind of run it on my trap. It's kind of it's a tricky place to get, but if you ever get soreness there, it always feels fantastic to have the bar kind of angled on it. Usually do it on the left side. I don't usually do too much on the right because I don't have as much tightness on there. But it's definitely a good part of the warm up. So I'll probably go through all that one more time and start adding the weights. Oh, I'm on a different program right now, Kevin. I'm just doing my own stuff. I think I heard the chalk monster's right here. uh, I still remember that funny conversation from the other day. The chalk monster. Don't worry, I've been eating plenty of chalk. you'll see my legs start to get more and more chalk just because I touch my sleeves and stuff. More warming up than I usually do, but it is what it is. I don't recommend the AI. I don't like the programming. Give me too much bottom up squats, which I think are a dumb exercise, and you can't swap them out, or you can. You just have to do it every single time. But it insists on programming such a difficult to set up movement like that. But I mean, it's not bad, but like the Seek of Strength, I only did, or I at least looked at. So I got like a trial and just looked at. So I can't really say too much about their programming, but don't really recommend it. The Catalyst programs I had success with, but a lot of that's because I was a beginner. So I don't know. I think it's worth trying, but I didn't like the programming. As the AI evolved, as they updated it, it became worse in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. All right, we're gonna do 40. And Kevin, I tried it a couple times. The biggest PR I hit during it was front squats, but yeah, I just ended up not liking the programming. Just made it so. Yeah, honestly, I think that's why I'd honestly probably just go to Catalyst Athletics and just look at one of the free programs because then you can adapt it to what you can do, and you're not spending money because the AI just doesn't just doesn't adapt well enough. It's not really AI. It gets pretty predictable, which is not what AI. I mean, I suppose in one sense that's what AI could be, but I can write the same week of training myself. I don't need a AI system to AI to write a same week over and over. And there's not really a feedback mechanism to tell it that you can't do or don't want to do a certain exercise besides blocks. Like bottom up squats I don't like, but also it's like a pain to set up, so I just don't. I never did, and it kept putting it in. I swapped it out every single time I had it for weeks, and it just kept every week would put it in, and it's like, well, it has to be programming something based off the numbers that I are doing, but it would be, you have to do a bottom up back squat with, I don't know, say 160 kilos. And if you change the back squats, it's like, oh, just do triples at like 190, and you're not really in the shape to do that. And so it's just, It's either you do a really difficult to set up exercise that's difficult in general, or you have to do such a high intensity it doesn't make logical sense. So it's just it kept doing that. Um, yeah, it is, and it's not good enough for $40 a month. If it was $20 a month, I'd say it's worth it for that price point. But for $40, it doesn't adapt. Like it's advertised as being, artificial intelligence, and it changes based on this. And I don't notice those changes. Um, I don't notice those adaptations during the week. I mean, if you hit a PR, it changes stuff, but I don't really I I was not noticing the adaptations that were advertised for it, or like the ability of it to figure out what your weaknesses are. It's pretty bland and pretty repetitive, which isn't necessarily bad to have a repetitive program, but if I know what the next week of training is going to be and I'm paying $40 a month for it, I'll just write my own program for $0 a month and be able to change it. And so I didn't really like that. I think I used it before a competition. I don't think the competition went poorly, but um, I just, as the more I used it, it was good for squats. So honestly, like if you just wanted to increase your squat, like it will, if you follow what it does, it will increase your squat. But as far as the weightlifting stuff, I don't think it's very good for that, in my opinion. But and also, all of the pulls on it are sub maximal. So if I'm doing a clean pull, it always is based off your best clean, and it's never doing a deadlift. The deadlifts or the pulls that you do on it are all what you want to do. So there's no RP system like they use for the squats and a white light system that they use for the snatch and clean jerks. The pulls are just pull something that's like this, and then like it's kind of just like up in the air. And for someone like me who can pull 300 kilos, like an easy pull can be extremely neurologically taxing. So it's like, and it like, oh, it remembers your weights. So if I use some pulls at like 250, it will just tell me to do all my clean pulls at 250. I'm like, well, I can't pull 250 for triples multiple times a week because I'm just gonna just, it's just like the pulls also bother me a lot because I like them and I like deadlifts, but I also I want to do a deadlift sometimes, but I get it's not the most weightlifting thing, but at the same time, like you could have a white if you could have a RP system for squats, you could do that for pulls. It's not a very difficult. They have the system in there, but they don't value pulls, even though pulls are valuable. They're valuable to me. They're important to me. Make you squat volume 2 days in a row, but can't have volume on a, or you can't have RP on a deadlift because that's some forbidden weightlifting jitsu. And deadlifting for a weightlifter, finding a time to do it is not hard. You just do it after a heavy session, so you're already tired, and you know the next day you're not going to train hard anyway, so you have more time to recover, and you just maintain positions. But Wasim, get out of here. The guy who watched me squat 500 pounds the first time and said it was RP9, you could have done it for a double. fighting, fighting for my life. This man says RP9. Yeah, I don't recommend anyone liking and subbing. I would dislike and report the channel. You stole that before, but um, at the gym I go to now, Justin did the same thing, and he still, if I mention it to him, and it was, I mean, like it was after I didn't really care about the bench press, but I think it was like 295 or 305. It wasn't even like a PR, but hey, Reed. And Justin just like I was struggling and it was still moving. He just yeeted it out of my hands because he had the weightlifter brain where as soon as it's slow, it's not good or it's like it's a fail. It's like I was like I was gonna finish that. He's like, no, you weren't. I'm like, no, I literally was still pushing, and it like almost threw me off because of how like quick he yeeted it out of my hands. But I think it was similar to what you did back in the day. But I grind weights really slow, so I don't blame people necessarily for grabbing it because it's like I move it like it looks probably like it's stopped, but I can tell the difference when it's moving very slightly, or at least I have a chance to get through that sticking point and stopping. I mean, if you look at my PR deadlift, like I was dying the whole time. It looked like I was gonna pass out the entire lift, but I was able to wiggle it up. So I'm good at grinding, which is terrible for weightlifting, but not not uh, not bad for powerlifting. It's a good thing I don't do that anymore, apparently. But I'm doing well, Reed. How are you doing on this Friday? Let me hit this. When we smoke this 60 kg. Bounce it. What are these? Oh, the weird people are back, Reed. I don't know if you've. I haven't seen you in one of these before, Wasim, but there's some weird people in. So, actually, politics, religion. I've had some religious proselytizing and some people debating weird stuff. It's a quite fun time. Some dude commented on a YouTube video today that they missed me. It was a dude, so I blocked him. It was weird. Maybe these live streams just bring out the weirdos. Oh no, the chalk conversation is like the most normal thing that we've talked about. It gets really weird. But school this week was nice. They did so Thursday and Friday were a bit of a different day. So we had what we call the Woot Wagon, and the kids have their little bucks that they get as like positive behavior incentives. So we had the curtain up in the gym, and the other gym teacher, um, but the other guy or the other lady I teach with, she was running the Woot Wagon, and so the kids would go to half of there, and I'd have the other class doing cups. So we were doing cup stacking, and so Thursday and Friday were. I started to lose my voice a little bit, but it wasn't even a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know if I was getting a cold or whatever, but crab soccer? I don't even. Oh, crab soccer for gym. Yeah. We were doing crab walking, but we haven't doing crab walking the whatchamacallit soccer yet. They're too young for that. but we're doing cup stacking for half of it while the other class shopped and they flipped sides. So it made teaching kind of easy because there were like 15-minute lessons, and the wagon thing went really well, like just the rotations, all of that. So the end of the week ended well. Really, the whole week was good in general. I just need to make sure I go to bed earlier. I keep staying up too late, like a knucklehead, and I don't really have a reason. I just stay up because I'm dumb. Ugh. Because I'm big dummy head. But how was your week, Reed? With your various clinicals and stuff? I had 10 likes. That's weird. Some of these live streams, they'll have like they'll have like 3 people, and others will get like a gazillion. It's truly random. Oh, it felt weird. I don't know. We prevail. Don't you mean I prevail? uh, yeah, it's oh, it's actually. I really flip it. So I use it. I stored it here. Let me flip the camera. It's right there. I've actually benched on it a couple times, but I don't bench press too much. But it's basically there. Mostly get it out of the way. And if I ever, so I was benching for a couple weeks in the summer, and so I had it close to, or I just put it there so it's easier to get out instead of up top. But I jerry rigged the bottom of it with the athletic tape because I was too lazy to actually fix it. But yeah, I don't use it. I just have it sat there now for, I guess, a bench in here. Just I like an actual sitting bench. But yeah, it's still in safe hands. If you want it back, Wasim, just come up here. It's all athletic taped up. It's ready. It's ready for you. A bench press specialist on the D low. Thanks, Wasim. I use it probably 3 times annually, so I get lots of. I sit on it though. I do get some sitting time on it, but I don't sit too much when I'm out here, to be honest. Yeah, there's weird stuff on there. So Wasim, now that you're married, do you have any children yet? Are you working on that? I expect your first 3 children to be named Jim, Jimbo, and James. Or I stop there for snatches and just do a couple clean and jerks. So I'd rather go heavier tomorrow. And I think that was on my general plan was to do 90 for a couple singles, but honestly, 90 just for one is fine. It's okay. Just a car? You need to have some you need someone to send all your stuff to once you die, Wasim. You need 8 children at least. Because the first 3 I already got the names picked out for him, so you can think of the rest 5. Be like that boxer that named all his George Foreman that named all his kids George Foreman, except it's Jim, Jimbo, and James. People who speak a non-English language and expect me to be able to, Wasim, I read that as a car the first time. That's how blind I am. I didn't realize you got a cat. That's pretty cool, though. No, you have to go Jamie. You can't go Kim. That's not a variation. Jamie, that's right there. It's built in. Or you just man up and her name's Jim anyway. No matter what. Boy, girl, something in between. It's Jim. And when I have a kid, Wasim, I'll name my first one Wasim. You're gonna be waiting a long time for that kid to come, but you'll see a Caucasian child with a non-Caucasian name. Weird. One guy's just talking to himself in Brazilian. Well, if I was gonna learn another language, it's gonna be Spanish, not Brazilian, because I don't need to speak Portuguese or whatever it is. I'm gonna do some push press instead of clean and jerk, since in theory Saturdays will be the heavy day. Today's just a tune-up. We'll do a classic overhead press to a push press session. See if I can press more than Wasim's bench press. Probably not. Jamal. I think I'll go with Jim, but with an apostrophe after the J, between the J and the I. Really throw people off. Honestly, doesn't look too bad, but I fear that a small child with that name would be very confusing to learn his name because he would have the apostrophe and then the dot above his I. So then it would be a big problem for him learning learning to spell his own name. Maybe I'll just add a tilde, that like Spanish accent above the M, even though it doesn't actually go above M's. Just put it there. They can't stop me. What? Well, I mean, he's probably gonna get bullied anyway. That's just mean. I don't know why I'm being mean to a kid that doesn't exist. Bowling non-existent children can't do it. Like the dude is just talking to himself. He should just go into his bathroom with a nice echo and just listen to his voice talk. Then you'll actually be able to see someone actually hear what he's saying. What's a power clean plus press? 60, 80, 90. Let's see, top. Alright, we're doing 90. I think my platform got more bouncy. We'll go up to 95 though, see if that moves. Hey, appreciate watching. You have a good one. Diarrhea. All right, 95. Pressy time. Wasn't too bad. All right. We're gonna go for broke and try a hundo. But I'm not gonna push press today. I think it's important on this day to not do too much. Take it easy. It'd be really cool to do 100 though. Be cool. I'm not cool, but it would be cool. All right. Oh, I knew it wasn't likely. That's all right, though. To feel confident enough to even think about trying it. So it means that 95 felt decent enough to go up. But, too bad. But we're gonna set up or redo my wraps and let's work up on a couple front squats. It's definitely kind of a nice relaxing workout. I'm not doing too much. Not grinding myself into a pulp. Which I need to have more Fridays like this where I don't do too much, so then I can do better sessions on Saturdays. Well, the front squats usually can just kind of do whatever and be alright for the next day. Especially because I'm not doing like a set of 10 or not that I ever would, but I'm not doing high intensity or volume. Or I guess kind of high intensity, but not high volume. Alright. And redo love wraps. It's actually been on my regular sleeves today, but I'm kind of too lazy for it. Probably will tomorrow, though. Hey, Adrian. I'm doing pretty well. How are you? Very good. Very glad you're having a good Friday. Getting ready to do some front squats. Not really 10 of them. I tried to double 172 earlier this week. I'm not going to try to double it today, but get anywhere near 170, that would be nice. For something smooth. The historical thing in weightlifting is people go heavy and hard and max out on Fridays, but I find it too tired from work to really have that be a consistent maxing or a heavy day. Saturdays are better for that. For sure. Probably, I mean, it's a hard question to answer. Obviously, less than that. But there are some people that are really efficient at front squats. So if you're like super efficient, I would say probably like for something like that, yeah, like 265. If you're like really good at front squats, maybe like abnormally good, maybe a little bit more. Maybe you're like really bad at back squats, really good at front squats, maybe like 275. But if you were doing anything more than like, if you're doing like 245, that would probably like make logical sense. But my best, at least I should say recently, my best back squat ever is 520 in pounds, so like 234 or something. My best front squat's like 192. So for me, there's like a 30 some kilo difference. But for the way that I'm built, front squats are harder to positionally hold. For instance, I'll do like a really heavy front squat that's like 90% or whatever percentage, and it will look easy. But I know as I'm doing it that I'm pitching forward a little bit and that I don't have any more weight. But for a back squat, once it gets maximal, it gets grindy, like for normal things. So front squats for me are similar to like overhead press, where it looks easy until it just stops, and then it it stops entirely, or it slips off my front rack. So in theory, or maybe I've done 185. It's I think 430 or 420, 425, something between 420 and 430 is my best front squat. I forget what it was. It's been a little bit. Recently, it's been 180. Like this year, it's been 185 kilos, which is like, I don't know, 408 or something. Adrian, you're 13. You should just go talk to a trainer or a coach. Ask dudes on the internet. Go find someone to teach you how to. If you're 13, that's actually the perfect age to go find a weightlifting coach. I'm too old where it doesn't matter, Ethan. But if you're 13, you want to do any sort of lifting, you should go find a coach. Find a professional to help you with that. Um, it doesn't matter, Adrian. You're 13. Go find a coach, and then you can go get coached up. If you're 13, I don't actually believe any of the numbers that you're doing, to be honest. Because if you're 13, you don't have the years where I would trust your technical prowess, and you would need a coach to actually teach you how to lift and how to program and how to be safe while you're lifting and all that good stuff. So you just gotta find a coach, and whether that's someone, if you're at a high school or middle school, whether that's someone there or someone that your parents can help you find outside of it. But a random dude on the internet is not a good coach. No, I lift really light weights. I tried to gain as much body mass as possible and lift very little weight. Um, well, Adrian, just find a coach, like not a kid coach, but like go find go find a coach at your school. Maybe a sports coach. You'd find a teacher at your school, a football coach or any sports coach. Probably a football coach or a track coach. But to be honest, I don't advise. I don't advise people under 18 about lifting stuff. My advice is to find a coach. Go ask your dad, bro. What? Why is it bad if your dad coaches you? I said find an adult. I would consider, unless your dad's 15, unless your dad had you when he was 4, I assume he's above 18. Yeah, talk to your dad. Ask your dad. I'm not your dad. I'm not a trusted adult. Yeah, that's my advice. Go listen to your dad. I mean, you're 13. You're going to be dumb. You're going to be dumb for the next 7 to 10 years. I've yet to meet a 13-year-old that I said, wow, he's intelligent. You got another 7 to 10 years of being a complete Nimrod. Then people assume you're not at magically after that point somehow. Ask your dad to help you go do athletic lifting. Go ask your dad. Go talk to Pops. Say, Dad, I'm gonna go do Olympic weightlifting. I don't want to throw weights above my head. No, my wrists don't hurt from pressing. They hurt if I hurt it. Doing cleans or something, but overhead pressing doesn't other bother my wrist. I actually use this just to provide some extra support. My wrist will kind of bother me at front squat sometimes, but helps me lift weights better. But the nice thing of being 13 is that you should go ask your dad about anything regarding lifting. You're waiting. When I was 13, I went and asked my dad what to do, and he told me to go do stuff. That's what I did, because I was 13. How many reps? I'm just doing singles. I'm gonna go up to this is 140. I'm gonna do 140, and maybe a little more. You know, slam bars. You really should just eat chalk. That's honestly. Now we got Adrian here. He's 13. He's gonna actually start eating chalk. Don't eat chalk, Adrian. It's a joke. For legal purposes, it's a joke. Don't listen to slam bars. He's gonna try to sell you chalk behind the Home Depot. This is 140, so 308. Ain't too bad. Now I'm gonna do 160. I lied. We're just gonna go right to 170. And none of you can stop me. Nah, I'm goofing. I'm gonna do 160. I'll actually go back to 160. I played y'all. Played yourself early. Believe me, I can lift weights. We'll do 160 and see if we can do something more. Little bit más. I even wrote it on my paper. I was committed to it. But I might do 175. So we'll see this. We'll see it to see it to the end. anabolic burps. Got some nice chalk for slam bars. Little pre-squat smacker. All right. Yeah, we definitely need to do more. And guess what flavor it is? It's chalk flavored. I really just wear a fanny pack with a bunch of chalk in it. It has nothing but chalk in it. I'm actually curious if if you could have like just a block of chalk in the airport, if like TSA would just take it and keep it. I feel like I feel like you can't, but I don't have a reason why you can't. I don't know because it's a powder, but maybe Slam Bars knows if about the airplane travel, if that's possible with chalk. I mean, if I just put a bunch of chalk on my shirt like this, would they keep me from getting on the airplane? I don't know. We're gonna redo my wraps for my last set. Give myself a little bit more rest too. So we're gonna try 175. We're gonna go a little buck wild. 160 actually felt pretty nice. Pretty nice. But a 175 beltless will be good. I actually get more out of front squats from or I get more from a belt with front squats than with back squats. But it helps with both, but this would be good. This would be very nice. Power of chalk and anime are on my side. Crank that soldier boy. And crank this front squat. Ooh. Oh, knee wraps feel pretty nice. $70, $75. Alright. Wish me luck, boys. So that one, speed is good, but it was curling forward on me. But jump from 160 to 175. That's a really good jump to be able to take if I can do it consistently. It's usually, if I'm doing a heavy front squat as of late, it's usually about 170. So doing 175, of course, is more. So that's more better. More better. Some may say the more betterist, but really kind of geeked about that. Especially, it was hard, but it wasn't like I didn't die. I'm not dead. Oh, that was good though. No belt too. Means that I made that 175 the consistent number I get up to. It's obviously a good thing because it's really, there's two ways you can really kind of look at your strength when you're measuring it. I'll leave one of my glasses since I'm about to pontificate on some fitness knowledge. I'm about to learn y'all real good, but there's two ways you can really think about your strength numbers or how strong you are. You can think about your lifetime maxes, or you can think, really three ways actually. You can think about your current maxes. So, for instance, we'll use the deadlift as an example. If my deadlift ever is 305, that's not a everyday or even like a short peak where I could get up to that number. That's a lifetime max I've done once, never done it again. My max, like consistent max, if I was like, peaking for say a deadlift, would be like 300. I'm pretty confident that if I, peaked for it, took a couple days off, practiced, whatever, that I could get up to 300 and be able to do it. 305, no idea. It's a one rep max. Same with like a squat, like a front squat. I'm pretty confident that I could, peak towards competition and get up to like 185. My best ever is like 195 or whatever. So it's like the number that you've done once is obviously, your PR, but then you have your, training PR, and then you also have your like working PR. So let's say that you have a day where you don't feel as good, you're not feeling like it's just on an average day, like today is an average day. If I can make 175 a day where I can do it on any particular day, not really any, if I don't feel a certain way or whatever, but it's a number that it can be consistent, and that's true of any lift that you do. So you want to build those, like not necessarily a daily max up, but you want to build a number that if you're going to push up a little bit on a particular day to where it's like, all right, this is going to be heavy for this day, but it's that number is consistently going up. Even if your one rep max is not going up, it means that you are consistently getting stronger. Because if you are doing something like weightlifting, it's not necessarily important to have a super maximal one rep max all the time, but you want to have legs that are strong enough for the lifts that you need to do. So if I wanted to say do clean and jerk with 150, obviously if 175 front squat is going to be more than enough leg strength for it. But if I wanted to do more, I probably could do more in the clean and jerk if I was like peak for it with my current leg strength. But if I'm just in normal training, this kind of tells me that I'm at the current state where I have, strong legs. I have strong enough legs to do the training that I want to do, and it's moving in the right direction. So that part is good. That part is good. Ironically, 175 is my best clean ever. Now I'm happy I did it for a front squat. the goal with most days of training should be to find a weight that's difficult, but you know that there's probably a little bit more if you're going to go absolutely max out that you'd have. Once you get to the point where you fail, obviously you've overextended, unless it's a technical thing, which for me it often is. But if it's like a true like strength failure, it's not always bad to go to that point for some movements, but it just gives you more information for your training. No matter what kind of information you're getting, good or bad, it gives you information, which is all you need for programming. So it tells me on a day like this, if I can keep, the snatch and the overhead press in this case in check, where I'm not just going absolutely bonkers with them, then the front squat should feel good, and I might feel good tomorrow. Strangely enough, a front squat like that usually doesn't fatigue me much for the next days of training. A back squat will, a deadlift will at that intensity, but the front squats won't, which is quite nice. But it allows me to practice a heavy weight like that without neurologically fatiguing myself. And I think two reasons for that is because it's submaximal to what I can back squat, but also to what I can deadlift. So my CNS doesn't get as destroyed from that as much as possible. Plus the speed is still, it's not really grindy, just because I can't really maintain a grindy position on the front squat for the most part. So makes it a nice little training stimulus for sure. But I'm also happy with that because I actually did a little bit of rowing this morning. Got my heart rate up a little bit before I went into school. So that, and obviously working all day and not sleeping much the past couple of nights because I was being a knucklehead. Definitely happy I was able to get up to that, which I credit that to the nap I took after school. Naps are key. Naps are honestly the secret to success. Especially, I went bonkers with my training on Wednesday too, so the fact that I was able to do any sort of good training today is a positive as well. Especially doing the heavy deadlift I did, so. Especially doing that heavy deadlift. But, yeah, there's not really much else to do tonight. It's a really simple Friday session. Looks like it took me about an hour to do. Got up to 90 in the snatch, and 90 felt good. Wasn't anything wrong with it. Just didn't feel super fast or explosive with it, which makes sense because I'm fatigued from Wednesday. But just felt a little sore in the shoulders with it, so I didn't want to try to go above that because I wasn't really feeling fantastic physically with it. And overhead presses actually felt pretty good. So the 95 felt good enough for me to want to try to do 100. And that's kind of like an overhead press is kind of one of the few lifts where you can kind of max it out every time that you do it and it not be a detriment. Obviously, there's technical things you can improve upon, but you're not really going to fatigue yourself neurologically in any capacity with an overhead press for 99% of people. Obviously, if you are able to strict press an extreme amount of weight, then there, it can be that negative recovery aspect. But for us mere mortals, it's probably not the case. So going to that, I don't necessarily worry about missing 100. I kind of like the idea of trying it because it just at least puts in my mind that I'm confident enough to try it. And then the front squats are good. I was pleasantly surprised with it. I was thinking of 175 in the back of my head, but I kind of figured like I'd kind of just go to 170 and just be happy with that. But I'm glad that I dropped down to 160 instead of just going right to 170 from 140, so I can make that jump from 160 to 175. So I think that would be a common if I just want to do a couple heavy singles. I'm not worried about getting any sort of volume in. That's a good way to be able to get up to, especially beltless, especially on a day where I'm not fully recovered. So hopefully tomorrow goes well. It's not going to be a super maximal day, but it is like the quote unquote heavy day of the week. Although Wednesday I went pretty crazy because I didn't train yesterday on Thursday because we had conferences at school, so I was there quite late. So I didn't have any plans to do any training, so I went ham on the Wednesday. But tomorrow should be good. Today was good. Every day hopefully is a good day of training, but things are going in the right direction. If my squat's going up, if I have a good front squats, then everything tends to go better with training. But that's going to be it for this one. So if you made it to this part of the stream or any part of it, I appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.